you, Eugene, and thank you all to the organizers of Deep Learning Indaba for this great opportunity to speak to you about Data Science Africa, the Uganda chapter. And I also want to appreciate all the previous speakers. They've done a great work as well as showing the capacity and the potential that there is in the use of data science and AI, particularly for social good. So I'd like to thank you all, especially the people from the AI lab, which I lead. Thank you so much for that great presentation, for the work that we, are passionate about and do in the lab. So I'm not here to talk about the lab. I'm here to talk about something bigger, which is the Data Science Africa Uganda chapter. And I'm just going to briefly take us through what we are, what we do, and how each one of us can be a part of that great initiative that's starting up. Yeah, so the Data Science Africa Uganda chapter is really coming on from Data Science Africa. I hope all of us are aware about Data Science Africa, which is an initiative to grow AI and data science on the African continent. So on the map on my right-hand side, I think you can see several locations where Data Science Africa has been held so far. We started in Kampala in 2016. Then we had our trainees in Nyeri. We moved to Tanzania. Then we also had in Nigeria. And then from 2019, we started having 2 Data Science Africa events. One was in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and then we also moved to Accra, Ghana. And then in 2020, of course, we were continuing our same tradition of having 2 DSAs, and the pandemic came in. And we were lucky that we were able to still have Data Science Africa, but it was a virtual conference, just like how Indaba has been, because of the ongoing pandemic. And so we thought that we would have Senegal last year, but we weren't able to have it because of what's going on. And so we're hoping that we shall be able to have a Data Science Africa this year for the French-speaking part of the continent, and that is in Senegal, and we have plans underway to organize this. And so from that, we realized that, data science is a good thing, Indaba is a good thing, but all these things take long to come back. They take a whole year. For DSA, it even takes much longer because it's Africa-wide, so it takes a long time to rotate around. And by the time it comes back to Uganda, it's probably been maybe 4 years. And so we thought of coming up with an initiative, and that is the Data Science Africa Uganda chapter, which is again, still around skilling, around building and providing all these interesting things around building the data science capacity in Uganda. And this is really greatly aligned with the NDP3. You should always interest yourself in the planning books that are going on in the country. And so we have an NDP3, which was developed by the National Planning Authority for 2021 to 2020 to 2021 to 2024 to 2025. So many numbers. Yeah. And they realize that there's, as we keep going on, as technology is growing, I think we all have heard about the 4th Industrial Revolution, and the President, His Excellency, the other day constituted a committee to come up with, a roadmap for the 4th Industrial Revolution, where AI and machine learning are one of the core pillars and components for this. And so from the NDP, it's realized that there's a growing gap as we keep progressing. There's a growing gap in the number of data scientists and AI. And so that's where Data Science Africa, the Uganda chapter, comes in. And what is our mission is we're really an all-inclusive network of data scientists, organizations that are inspired to grow data science skills and their usage to contribute to Uganda's development aspirations that are really outlined in NDP3. Our objectives are to create a forum for interaction among its data scientists, governments, academia, UN, NGO, private sector, civil society that are very keen on data science and its use for social good. So most importantly, this is not an academic thing, although I come in to present from an academic perspective, but it's not. It's all round with government, UN, private sector, as long as we are all keen on the use of data science for social good. We want to increase Uganda's data science capacity by raising awareness and stimulating interest through a pool of local case studies and training. Throughout the call and throughout this week, we've had several case studies where data science and AI has been applied in several domains: health, agriculture, NLP. And so we want to, enhance that and use this as a momentum for increasing the capacity of the data scientists in Uganda. We want to provide information and access to different data science resources and artifacts like jobs, internships, scholarships, funding. That information is usually scattered, and you can't know where to go if you need help. We have, students that always are maybe at their bachelor's level, and they're looking for places where to do internships, specifically AI and data science, and they don't know what to do. And so we want to come in and stand in the middle and try and bridge that gap and provide that information, through a central location across. Because if you have someone from academia and they have a place where they can put a student, if you have someone from the private sector, from the bank, from MTN, I think these are very good opportunities that we can be able to utilize through the connection and the formulation of this network that we have in Uganda. And we want to also support the improvement of policy and the regulatory environment for data science in Uganda by inspiring new policies and harmonize existing policies around data access, data sharing, data privacy, issues of fairness and ethics. So these are all very important across the whole, pipeline as we build our models, data collection, algorithms, the transparency there. But if you also implement, is there explainability at that stage? So how can we be able to influence policy and also help and guide and provide, some sort of best practices that people who are developing AI techniques can be able to adapt along this whole entire life cycle. And I know that we've been talking briefly on this call around policy, so it's very important. Sandbad AI talked about policy, and so we really want to contribute to that space and not wait for people who are not in AI to make the policy for us, but that this is driven really with the case studies, with the experience that we have as we build and develop AI and ML models. So what are the activities that we've proposed? We want to have regular data science meetups and convenes. Like the one we have currently right now. We want to have several capacity building events that target all stakeholders, especially students, early career professionals, through workshops, short courses, modules, both online and offline. We want to have, continuous hackathons. We just had one hackathon, and congratulations to Martin for that. But we want to have continuous hackathons, training of trainees, grant writing, presentation and management sessions. We want to also have stakeholder engagements and also looking at collaborative research and project implementation. I want to, envision a point where we can be able to have a project in health being implemented in Chirudu, but also having it also implemented in Barara, in Mast, for example, because of the collaboration that we have between the two different universities. I think that would have a lot of impact. Such the impact is not only felt in Kampala, but that if there's a project that's very good in Barara, that we can be able to see how we can, exchange best practices, implement it jointly, and allow for that university collaborations with universities in Gulu, etc. And then also provide data science consulting and advisory services. So what have we done so far as an association? So we began with a sort of data collection from different stakeholders, where we were able to understand what people are talking about, and people who, what are they interested in this network. And we now moved from there to have conversations. We've been having different conversations with different organizations like National Planning Authority, NITAU, Stanbic Bank, just to understand things that come up and to gauge their interest again in being part of the Data Science Africa Uganda chapter. Because as we said, it's not just academia, but we are very inclusive in terms of the different stakeholders that we have along the pipeline. Then we've also had one-on-one engagements between the coordination team, meeting individual stakeholders and organizations. And we've also been able to have different webinars to raise awareness of GSA and different sharing experiences. So what has gone on so far is that we've had three pre-launch events. I hope that a couple of people on this call have already been on those pre-launch events. We had one on the 30th of April. We started in April, May, and June. We had pre-launch events every month. And I'm glad that in July, we are having Indaba. So I feel like it's also part of our, our whole DSA Uganda local chapters that we haven't missed anything in July, which is really good. And so we want to have a launch, but I'll talk about it briefly. So our first pre-launch event was organized around the objectives to bring together partners working in the data science space so that we all get to know each other. Sometimes when you're in the lab, like I'm in the lab, I think, oh, I think it's only the AI lab that's doing work. But I think it was good because then this first meetup opened up our eyes to show, oh, there's actually potential in different areas. So we had people from banking, from insurance, from fintech, from government talking about the work that they were doing. And I found that very interesting. Government talked about the data and the privacy policy and the law and how it applies to us. And that was very, very insightful. And so that the first launch was good because then we got to understand the mapping of what's going on in the different players around data science. Also, we're able to showcase local case studies and the potential of data science, and to also increase interest and ownership in data science in different stakeholders. But for us as the committee for the DSA was to really communicate the agenda for the local chapter so that people can be aware of what is available and stimulate discussion on the partnership moving forward. Then the second DSA pre-launch event was themed around opportunities in and for data science in Uganda. Again, here we've got presentations from government institutions, policymakers, industry. I think it was less from academia, it was more from policy, industry, government. And also that was very insightful. We had presentations from Ministry of ICT, NITSA U, Clinic PESA, Policy, Innovation Village, FINCA, and the big data science Africa network, so that we could again think about how we are positioning data science Uganda with a data science Africa network. And that was very interesting. The third was focused on academia. So as I said, that this is not a Makerere University thing or a Utamu thing. It's all inclusive with different universities in Uganda, because if you see our logo for the Uganda chapter, we have maps that are drawing from all the different corners of the country. And so for this pre-launch event, we had presenters showcasing data science research and projects in universities, because it's important that through the networking and the collaboration and the mentorships that we can, that if someone is on industry and they're seeing, oh, a project that you're doing, they can be like, oh, I think that's really good. Maybe we can also, take that project and apply it in our organization and expand it in our organization, even if it's coming from an academic perspective. And so we had several people presenting there. We had 2 university lecturers and 6 students on the third DSA launch. And that's the participation. So you can see we try to cover everywhere, based on the number of people who participated. We had people from academia, private sector, NGO, government, the UN, and the local government as well. But for me, that's not important. What is important is really the distribution in terms of the regions of the country. We had people from, all over and all the different regions of Uganda, as you see them distributed here. And I find that very intriguing that, we're getting interest and participation from, the whole country in terms of data science and AI. So what are the next steps? So we've had 3 pre-launch events. Unfortunately, because of the current lockdown, the official DSA launch is postponed because we really want to have a physical event. We are thinking we'll have more impact if we have the physical events together, so that we can all be able to meet and brainstorm. So we are hoping that something will change, but we'll still keep communicating how we can be able to probably at least have a hybrid event. So right now what we're doing is that we are identifying activities that different stakeholders are interested in to keep them geared towards data science. And I know that the question that someone asked of, I'm not into computer science, I'm not in, maybe my background is not in AI, but I'm interested. How can I get interested? I think that's a very brilliant question. And so we are also thinking about it, and we're thinking of how to develop training modules that can take care of people with different backgrounds. So you come from an engineering background, a good use case is Samiha, who didn't come from a computing an AI or computing background, and now she's really into AI and machine learning. And so they are bridging, courses or bridging modules that she had to take to really position her and take her to where she is right now. And so we are thinking about people like that and saying, okay, what training modules can we have for people with different backgrounds but are interested in AI and machine learning? And as the local chapter, these are the things that we are trying to formulate and come up with, such that this can easily be tailored and people can be able to take them up as we move forward. Then we need to keep meeting, because I think this is something that has started, and I said I'm glad that Indaba came in July, so that fills the gap for July. So our next event is really going to be to start with the pre-launch events organized by regions. So before, it's been just the central region, Makerere and the partners here in Kampala organizing, but we want to move it back to the region. So we are starting with a launch with our regional presentations and organizations from the northern region, which will start with the 4 sub-regions of West Nile, Acholi, that's a wrong spelling, Lango and Karamoja. And the Northern Region pre-launch event will be held on 27th August 2021. I'm glad Martin is here. He's on the call from Barara. And I know he'll also spearhead when we move to the Western region of the country. And so please feel free to join our network. Feel free to join us. This is the committee, the coordination committee. As you can see, we want to be inclusive and reach out to all the regions in the country. I don't know, Claire, if you've been able to share the link in the chat. If you want to join our mailing list, please be sure to register. We also have a WhatsApp group where we communicate. We try to post opportunities as possible, as we, as soon as we receive them, we post them there, but we also post them on the mailing list. And so we look forward to growing data science in Uganda. Thank you very much. Yeah, for listening.